Dr. Soliven will now deliver a response on behalf of the graduating fellows and residents.
Our distinguished speaker, Dr. Abillo, Dr. Bengzon, Dr. Eugene Ramos, Dr. Bless Concepcion, our department chairpersons and training officers, with special and section heads, with special mention to my own, Dr. Artemio Rojas, and Dr. Grace Orteza, the nursing staff, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. With us are exhausted, semi-neglected, financially bloodied, but hopeful and proud parents, spouses, friends, and families of every graduate. May I request my fellow graduates to stand up and give them a round of applause. Had I known earlier that I will be speaking tonight, I would have also prepared my PowerPoint slides. It never occurred to me before that I will be receiving and speaking for recognition as this one. Now, I understand the real meaning of outstanding. It means simply being sincere in everything we do, aware of our own weaknesses and others, so that we find the humility for self-improvement and patience to serve others. In humble ways, we do extraordinary things in any ordinary day that passes by. Just like what Dr. Abillo said, just be yourself. I'd like to share then this recognition with my fellow graduates who I believe deserve it too. Nakalamang-lamang po ako sa isang bagay. Sabi ko nga po kay Luigi, ang aking masipag at mabait na batchmate sa IM, if asked what cuts me above the rest, ibibigay ko ang pang Miss Universe na sagot. I will say it's my age. Kaligayahan po ng mga co-residents ko ang aking edad. Araw-araw, andyan ang tawagin akong lola, tanda, mother, inay, demented, manang. Minsan gusto ko na pong mapikon. Pero alam kong natutuwa lang sila at naiisip nila kung sila rin kaya ay tumanda. Kaya rin kaya ang aking ginagawa. They would be awed when they hear me sing Taylor Swift, or Katy Perry songs, or even merely listen to Craig David and Bruno Mars songs. They would even approach me and tell me, "Hoy manang, pang 20 anyos lang yan." Seriously, I think my age gives important meaning to training. It exemplifies my continued pursuit for learning and self-improvement. Allow me to bring you back to my life before the medical city, as this was the pivotal factor towards my realization of life in the Philippine health system. In 1987, I packed my bags against my family's will. I left for Ifugao, the place where the mountains meet the clouds. My heart was filled with fear, but my mind was full of excitement as to what I'm going to see and do as a doctor to the barrio. I was the first and only doctor then in that municipality of Aguinaldo, Ifugao. Upon arrival at the rural health unit, I was directed to one of the 2 rooms which became my bedroom and office at the same time. Nighttime came, I had to disassemble scattered boxes which I saw around to spread under my mat because I had no bed but a cold floor. On my 3rd day, a bus fell off the cliff and many suffered from scalp lacerations I asked for gloves and anesthesia, only to be laughed at. No such supplies are available. One of my first few terrifying nights was when Rex, a 4-year-old boy, was brought to the unit for high fever and severe headache. He was accompanied by about 10 family members, some of them with bolos tucked in their waists. That was midnight. I only had to offer paracetamol syrup and a basin of water for sponge bath. How I prayed it will work. With only a few cholera outbreaks occurring in the country nowadays, it fell into my area, a municipality of 585,000 hectare land area, 17,000 population scattered in 16 barangays. This epidemic affected 5 barangays, reaching 328 cases in a couple of days. 8 lives eventually lost. The regional and provincial health offices had to send additional staff, truckloads of supplies for rehydration. We used as makeshift lying-in clinics the barangay halls and spaces under the trees. A scene I could not forget was the coming of a father with his 2 children, about 4 to 6 years old, all suffering from diarrhea and all were dehydrated. My heart broke seeing the father in skirt with a younger boy without a shirt. After this, I haggled and struggled to win support for additional funding. I worked with all kinds of resistance from my staff who initially defied rules on punctuality and commitment, the political interventions, as well as cultural issues. 3 months in the area, with all my frustrations, I decided to go back to Manila to file my resignation. The mayor took me to the nearest bus station, about 3 hours of bumpy ride. I was teary-eyed when I saw Rex waving, calling me Choktor. That's how they pronounce D. They pronounce D with CH. As we went on, I see kids playing with their dirty, fragile bodies, no one wearing a slipper. My tears fell all the more as I hid my face from other passengers. Akala ko po, tigasin ako. But that sight moved me. To me, it was a reflection of how primitive our health system is, especially in the remote, marginalized areas of the country. After a week of consultation at the Department of Health Central Office, I decided to go back, this time with more committed plans and decision to make a difference. Dr. Abillo, I already wanted to make a difference then. I started with strict but inspiring rules for my staff who I wanted to work with and take the gargantuan mission for change. I realized the first I needed to change were the people's knowledge and attitude towards health. I had to immerse myself to win their support. I felt I needed to join their social affairs, eat with my hands, submerge my feet into the rice paddies during harvest time, chew buyo, drink ginebra, and do the native dance, the tajao. This I was doing while I was changing policies on personnel administration, reallocating the municipal's health budget, equitably assigning midwives to the different barangays, and preparing various project proposals. I pushed for the passage of a legislation for partial payment of what used to be dole-out medicines, hoping that will make patients more responsible for their own health. I did sanitary roundups as sanitary inspector failed to convince even the municipal officials to construct toilets in their own household. That means taking a peep on the place where they pee and poo. Walk as far as 4 hours to the different barangays for health teachings to show them I meant sacrifice and change. In all, I experienced birth pains. 7.5 years, then young and idealistic but grappling bariatric doctor, I was at times frustrated. but still fulfilled and hopeful as I already saw changes both in them and myself. We started reaping awards for being the most outstanding local health board, that is the legislative body for health, and we have had it for 4 consecutive years before I left. We consistently were chosen as pilot areas and received several million peso funds from international funding agencies. I did not change them, but I was part of a municipality or a community that has changed. And I stood proud not for the things I did, but for having seen the real world in this country of mine. I then thought I was ready to leave for training, as I was never satisfied with my clinical capability. I tried the doors of the most modern hospital in the country, still with my muddied sandals on, not even knowing which button to push in the elevator, my friend laughing at me. The first reward I got was when the training officer of the Department of Medicine told me at the end of the pre-residency, "Joanne, we are reserving 1 slot for you for having served the country. Do I get your commitment?" If Dr. Agnes is around, thank you very much, Mom. You might not even remember you told me that. So why am I sharing all these things? It is because I'd like also to talk big about the other end of the spectrum. I never realized a world-class hospital like the Medical City would be in alignment with the big quest for health reforms. We, as a country, have a lot to change as far as healthcare is concerned. And as I said, I had the privilege to see both ends of the spectrum. And I feel that this opportunity to speak before you now is a mission to reinforce in ourselves, especially to me and my fellow graduates, what the Medical City has shaped us for. And I summarize it with an acronym, with the Doctors in Action. Action meaning A for the awareness of the technological and scientific advancements, the social and cultural issues. C for competent and compassionate healing. T for trailblazers, doctors who are not afraid to take the less traveled route. I for innovators and of course inspiration to all healthcare providers. O for objective, and most of all, N, nurturing like the divine healer. A structured staff development plan by the Professional Staff Development Office, a well-laid-out training program under the Medical Training Office, and the administration support for CMEs, research endeavors, community projects, and clinical mentoring are among the evidences that we were being molded to become doctors in action. Mentors have pushed us almost to our limits. At iisa lamang po ang sentimiento naming lahat. Pagod na po kami. Now we have agreed to run away from them. But in running away, we will be bringing with us their pairs of shoes, follow their footsteps, and reach new heights the way they did. We will dream of the stars and get another planet. As Dr. Bengzon once told me, the fulfillment of mentors is in their mentees. We need not be famous, nor go to the barrios again. Rex may just be around in the face of Erica, or we may be serving the health needs of Wigan, the Ifugao hero, in the person of Don Jose. Hence, changing how patients think starts with changing how we doctors think. With that, and on behalf of the graduating batch of 2011, I'd like to thank again the administration, our dedicated mentors, the training staff, our clerks, auxiliaries, and everybody who played part in our training, of course, not to forget the patients. We now start our new journey, and rest assured, our ultimate expression of gratitude will be to bring honor to this institution by doing our part in the quest for change in terms of how the Filipino thinks about health. Maraming salamat po. Magandang gabi.